Hello and welcome to my channel, AB Make It Artwork, where we do what we do to make that artwork for you. And if you're new to my channel, maybe hit that subscribe button, join the AB Creative Crew. We do sketchy art things. So it's pretty late right now. It's almost midnight. I took an extra long nap though. It's late enough that most toddlers in the neighboring houses are asleep, so there will be no cabinet slamming. And all the fighter pilots that do their training above our house, well, above our complexes, will be doing no more practice. So I will probably be a little quieter than usual because most people are asleep at this time. Though there are a couple of adults that probably find this time to be the best time to just have their them time. Their health day kind of time, like take care of me while their kids are sleeping. I could see that eventually being that kind of person. Like I stay up 2 hours later after my kids go to sleep. I don't have kids yet, but I like to think that that'd probably be me by some point, that I just stay up 2 hours later getting things done but also having quality me time. That was a really weird ramble. Today's muse is a lovely rum and coke. Because it's just one of those nights. We are a rum household. Personally, I am a gin and tonic kind of girl. I don't know, it's been a while. Gin used to be my nightcap when I had my own house, but my husband primarily prefers rum, so yep. Today's fancy beverage is a rum and coke. Sip, sip. Sippy, sippy. Or so says the graveyard girl. Sippy, sippy. Anyways, for a little while I was on hiatus. I took a little break to work more in detail on my Huvember, Lorvember prompts. But also I had not a lot of guests. I had like a guest over for Thanksgiving, and I had to do like some crafting work for Christmas presents, and I was like, there's a lot of stuff going on and I can't focus 100% on Huvember, Lorvember. And I want to take my time with these projects because I want them to look nice. So today's prompts were based on the lore of Minerva, which you're seeing right now. Minerva is the Roman goddess of wisdom and strategic warfare, and the sponsor of arts, trade, and strategy. She is equated to being the Roman version of the Greek goddess Athena, and her familiar is an owl. Her colors are blue and gold, which my husband did stress that a lot. For instance, I don't think I asked my husband about this god. I did ask my husband about the previous god when I was prompted to draw a god. But my husband has been playing a lot of Odyssey, so his ears do perk up a little bit when he hears a Roman or Greek god title. But also, he used to love the Percy Jackson series. He still loves the Percy Jackson series. I don't think he ever grew out of that. But I personally had some fun trying to incorporate the blue and gold aspects. As you probably know, yellow is the complementary color of purple. This is more of a reddish purple hue, so more of a yellowy green would have been a kind of perfect complementary. But I didn't want the art to look kind of sickly in color, since I was going to also be adding some blues to the cloak. I just wanted that nice bit of bronzy copper gold color. And I do love how the face came out. I loved drawing the wrinkles of the fabric, as weird as that may sound. And I really enjoyed how the owl came out. I didn't know how to draw it at first. That was pretty funny when I had the derpiest looking owl. But overall, it was a really nice piece drawing Minerva. Tonight's video is going to be all over the place. The second lore-based prompt that we had was Sibyl. Now, a Sibyl is Sibyl, also called Sibylla, is a prophetess in Greek legend and literature. Traditionally, they're represented as a woman of prodigious old age, uttering predictions in ecstatic frenzy. I guess she used to like present her prophecies in Greek hexameters, and they were handed down in writing. So if you went to go to see a Sibylla, it was likely that they were hidden away, speaking frenziedly, speaking really crazy and fast. And then their quotes would be written or spoken in Greek hexameter, which is. Hex means 6, so I don't know if hexameter means that there's 6 lines or 6 verses. I probably should have looked that up a little bit sooner. But it's a particular way of writing poetry. I think it's actually in pairs. Hexameter might be in like 6 pairs or couplets. Do not quote me on that. I am no literature major, and I'm just kind of flying by like, I don't know. I'm just flying by coattails of imaginary people. Who knows? But personally, I really enjoyed drawing a much older figure, though I really could have made wrinkles more pronounced to kind of add to the aged look. I enjoy the ideal of like her being inspired by divinity, which reaching towards light, but also having a divine sort of sight, so it's kind of hard to see from a distance. But if you look very closely, you'll see that her pupils are white to kind of show that she is blinded. So most of her inspiration or sight is divine in nature, which is kind of an interesting concept that through the lack of physical sight, we have divine sight as symbolism. Now I'm just kind of getting philosophical with it. But booze. Which, speaking of booze, I need another sippy. Anyways. Reach, sippy sip. This piece is the Wendigo. The Wendigo is a Native American spirit. Now, most of this I can tell you off the top of my head, but I want to get the name of the tribe. I will probably butcher this. The Algonquin people's history and stories is where this creature originates from. And I've been realizing through a lot of reading of stories and then watching of videos telling of stories, how sort of Christian influence then changes the initial impact or origin of a creature. So I'm gonna say this with like a grain of salt, that it's a Native American spirit turned demon due to Christian influences and Christian interpretation. Because as far as the Algonquin people were called, that this was a spirit that was from the forest, that had a tendency to influence people to do bad things, but they didn't really have a concept of demons and angels until, settlers and conquerors came by. But this creature is often adorned with like animal furs and bones, sometimes with large antlers, and it's been known to influence people into acts of cannibalism, and it has an unrelenting hunger that cannot be satisfied. Like, it's also known to hang around the Canadian-American border, and one of the ways that you can tell it's nearby is that you smell the horrendous stench of like rotting flesh, which I think this character is like, the Wendigo is really interesting because I've read some stories based on this character, and just overall I think it's really nifty. It's really cool. I've always loved creepy stuff. Going from a less creepy sort of source material, this is a kobold, and they are a German spirit similar to the Scottish brownies, the English pixies, and Native American pukwudgies. And there's different aspects of each of these different spirits that the kobold takes inspiration from. And again, I'm sort of starting to like see this through like a different light of how like Christian interpretation of different native folklores sort of subjects these different spirits to having a more evil nature. Because some of the stories do take on an aspect of like influence that's like, oh, it's a spirit, but it's not an angel, it doesn't come from our book, so it must be a demon and it must be evil inherently. But overall, kobolds, they're like 3 types, and only one of them is specifically aligned to be like super evil, and those are mine-dwelling or cave-dwelling kobolds, which look nothing like people. They look like grotesque monsters, and oftentimes the forms that the kobold will take will be like a combination of children or dolls or sometimes animals, and that's just kind of some of the shapes that they will take on. The other 2, aside from the mining and cave, that's one type, the miner cave kobold, is the ship kobold and the house kobold. And the ship and house kobold tend to take more human-like appearances. The ship one will often look more like a tiny man that suffers from dwarfism, but like a very old man in sailor regalia. He'll often be dressed as an old sailor and look like someone who suffers possibly from dwarfism. And he hangs around on ships. He likes sailing, he likes helping. He'll usually do chores around the ships if he's treated with proper respect. If he's not treated with respect, he's going to do some damage to the ship. The household kobold, though, which is the type that I depicted here, will look like a small child or a doll. And if kobolds are treated with respect, they do menial tasks around the house, and they help with chores, and they bring prosperity. But like if you ignore them, and this is where sort of the puckwudgie aspect comes into play. Puckwudgies tend to have a habit of burning stuff, causing fires, causing disaster if not treated with respect. So that was kind of spooky hearing the heater come on all of a sudden. Yeah, that's the kobold. Normally friendly spirit, very evil and mischievous when not treated with respect. I hope you had a wonderful time listening to me kind of intro drunk ramble about these mystical creatures. That you are having a wonderful day wherever you are, and maybe hit me up on some of my social media. Links are all in the description down below. As always, I hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you are, and make sure to do what you do to make that artwork for you. Lots of love. Bye. Mwah!